Chapter 25. Future Trends, AI, Virtual Artists, Post-Human Identity. The next compression. Modern artist identity has already been compressed many times. The album cover compressed a musical world into one square image. MTV compressed persona into broadcast performance. YouTube compressed it into the searchable thumbnail. Instagram compressed it into the grid. TikTok compressed it into the loop. Streaming platforms compressed it into profile circles, playlist tiles, and motion previews. The next compression will be more extreme. Artist identity will no longer be limited to a human body, a fixed face, a single wardrobe, a physical stage, or even one stable biography. It will move through artificial intelligence, virtual performers, avatars, synthetic voices, augmented reality filters, fan-generated skins, and endlessly editable digital doubles. The artist will not only be seen. The artist will be rendered. This does not mean human performers will disappear. In many cases, the opposite may happen. The human body may become more valuable precisely because synthetic imagery becomes abundant. But the visual field around music is changing. The boundary between artist, character, software, fan edit, fashion object, game skin, and performance avatar is becoming less stable. The future of music identity is not simply more digital. It is more modular, more participatory, and more post-human. For artists, creative directors, stylists, designers, and branding specialists, this shift creates both opportunity and danger. AI can expand an identity system faster than any traditional production process. Virtual performance can free artists from physical constraints. Avatars can scale a persona across territories, languages, games, social platforms, and fan communities. But the same tools also weaken ownership. When visual novelty becomes easy, visual memory becomes harder. When any artist can generate a surreal world, a chrome body, a fantasy landscape, or a perfect editorial image in seconds, the question changes. It is no longer, can we create something spectacular? The question becomes, can anyone remember who this belongs to? From human artist to identity engine. The traditional artist model begins with a person. A singer, rapper, producer, performer, or band develops music, style, and persona. The public forms an image around the human figure. Even when the image is constructed, the assumption remains that there is a person underneath it. The visual system is attached to a body, a voice, a biography, and a lived timeline. The future artist model may begin differently. It may begin with a concept, a character, a voice model, a fictional world, or a platform-native identity designed to move across media. In this model, the artist is not only a person. The artist becomes an identity engine, a system capable of producing songs, images, performances, stories, social posts, merchandise, and interactive experiences across multiple surfaces. This does not mean every future artist will be fictional. It means even human artists will increasingly operate like identity engines. A pop artist may have a real body on stage, an AI-assisted visual campaign online, a stylized avatar in a game environment, a digital double for tour visuals, fan-remixable assets, and an augmented reality filter that lets audiences wear part of the artist's look. The public may encounter the artist through many versions at once: human, edited, animated, synthetic, memed, live, and virtual. The artist is no longer only who performs the song. The artist is the organizing center of a visual universe. This changes the role of the creative team. The stylist is no longer dressing only the body. The stylist is helping define a wardrobe logic that can survive avatars, filters, dolls, skins, fan art, and stage costumes. The creative director is no longer designing only a campaign. They are designing rules for expansion. The brand strategist is no longer writing only a positioning statement. They are defining what remains recognizable when the artist becomes a data object. The future identity question is not simply, what should the artist look like? It is, what rules generate this artist in any format? A weak identity depends on one image. A strong identity can be regenerated without losing itself. If the artist appears as a stage performer, profile icon, AI video, festival hologram, anime-style avatar, fashion editorial, sticker pack, or fan cosplay, something should remain consistent. That something may be a silhouette, a color temperature, a facial attitude, a myth, a texture, a gesture, a symbolic object, a vocal mood, a posture, or a world logic. In the AI era, identity must become generative before the tools generate it. AI is amplifier, not author. AI will be used at nearly every level of visual identity: mood boards, styling references, album cover concepts, lyric videos, stage environments, motion graphics, social content, speculative outfits, character designs, merch previews, and campaign testing. For emerging artists with limited budgets, this can be liberating. A musician who once needed a large team to imagine a visual world can now prototype that world quickly. They can test silhouettes, color systems, lighting styles, typography directions, and video atmospheres before committing to production. For established artists, AI can accelerate scale. A campaign can generate multiple visual branches, one for streaming, one for social, one for stage, one for animation, one for regional markets, and one for interactive fan participation. But speed is not strategy. AI is powerful because it can produce variation. Identity is powerful because it limits variation. This is the paradox. An artist may generate hundreds of images that look impressive individually but do not accumulate into memory. One image may be cyberpunk, another baroque, another angelic, another horror-based, another luxury editorial, another cartoonish, another futuristic. Each may be visually interesting. Together, they may say nothing. The problem is not the tool. The problem is the absence of hierarchy. Before using AI, an artist needs rules: which silhouettes belong, which colors are central, which textures repeat, which symbols are protected, which environments feel native, which emotions should never disappear, which visual clichés must be avoided. Without these rules, AI becomes an aesthetic slot machine. With these rules, it becomes an amplifier. The strongest future artists will not ask AI for cool images. They will ask it to explore controlled variations of an established world. They will use it to test possibilities, not replace taste. They will edit aggressively. They will reject images that are beautiful but off-brand, impressive but hollow, fashionable but forgettable. The core skill will not be prompting. The core skill will be selection. Virtual artists and the problem of belief. Virtual artists are not new in concept, but their future role will become more significant as animation, real-time rendering, voice synthesis, motion capture, and social storytelling become more accessible. A virtual artist can be permanently styled, endlessly scalable, visually consistent, and free from many physical limitations. They can perform in multiple places, appear in game worlds, change form without aging, and exist as a character as much as a musician. For branding teams, this offers enormous control. But control is not the same as attachment. The central challenge for virtual artists is belief. Not factual belief. The audience does not need to believe the character is biologically real. The issue is emotional belief. Does the audience feel there is a meaningful center behind the image? Does the artist seem to want something, remember something, risk something, represent something? A virtual artist without emotional logic becomes a mascot. A virtual artist with emotional logic can become a myth. This is where the archetypes from earlier chapters remain essential. A virtual artist may be a chameleon, changing form across eras. They may be a myth creator, surrounded by symbolic worlds. They may be a character builder, designed through detailed narrative and group dynamics. They may be an anti-star, using artificiality to critique perfection. They may be a cultural symbol, though this requires particular care because culture cannot be simulated as decoration without consequence. The success of virtual identity depends on the same forces as human identity: archetype, repetition, contrast, conflict, evolution, and memory. The avatar must have rules. The world must have boundaries. The audience must learn what belongs and what does not. A virtual body can be designed perfectly. But perfection alone rarely creates devotion. Fans attach to tension, vulnerability inside power, humor inside glamour, sadness inside spectacle, rebellion inside beauty, humanity inside the machine. Post-human does not mean post-authentic. As AI and virtual systems expand, authenticity will become more complicated. For years, authenticity in music has often been tied to visible humanity, the face, the body, the biography, the voice, the live performance, the unedited moment. But in a post-human identity environment, these signals can be simulated, filtered, altered, or multiplied. This does not eliminate authenticity. It makes authenticity harder to locate. It may live in the artist's choices rather than their unedited face. It may live in consistency over time. It may live in the refusal to follow a trend. It may live in the way an artist preserves a regional code, repeats a childhood symbol, protects an awkward gesture, or insists on a color no algorithm would recommend. Humanity may appear as friction, limitation, memory, and taste. Taste will become especially important. When tools can generate anything, taste decides what should exist. Taste is not simply preference. It is judgment shaped by identity. It knows what belongs and what does not. It recognizes when an image is impressive but wrong, futuristic but generic, polished but empty. In the post-human era, taste becomes proof of authorship. Not legal authorship. Emotional authorship. The audience may not know who made every asset, what tool was used, or how much was generated. But they will feel whether the world has a center. They will feel whether the image belongs to the artist or merely surrounds them. The future-ready artist. A future-ready artist is not necessarily the one using the newest technology. A future-ready artist is one whose identity can survive new technology. They can appear as a human body, avatar, AI-generated scene, fan edit, stage figure, social loop, merch object, or virtual performance without losing the thread. Their system is clear enough to compress and flexible enough to expand. Their archetype can absorb transformation. Their visual language can generate variation without dissolving into noise. AI is not a shortcut around identity. It is a stress test of identity. If the system is weak, AI will expose the weakness by producing endless unrelated images. If the system is strong, AI will reveal its generative power. The practical sequence is simple: choose the archetype. Define the visual system. Establish the hierarchy. Test compression. Design for scale. Create loops. Invite participation. Protect the core. Then use the tools. This order matters. When artists begin with tools, they chase effects. When they begin with identity, tools become instruments. The AI and avatar era will produce spectacular images, artificial stars, virtual stages, synthetic voices, digital bodies, and fan-generated worlds. Some will be fascinating for a week and forgotten the next. Others will become lasting cultural figures because they solve the same problem every great artist identity has solved. They become recognizable. They become repeatable. They become emotionally charged. They become difficult to replace. The new memory system. The history of music identity is not a movement from authentic past to artificial future. It is a movement from one memory system to another. The vinyl cover taught listeners how to imagine the sound. The music video taught them how to watch the artist. The social feed taught them how to recognize the artist instantly. The viral loop taught them how to repeat the artist. The AI and avatar era will teach them how to regenerate the artist. Regeneration is more complex than repetition. Repetition says, here is the same signal again. Regeneration says, here is a new version that still belongs to the same world. A future artist identity must be capable of both. It must repeat enough to create memory. It must regenerate enough to remain alive. Too much repetition becomes stagnation. Too much regeneration becomes amnesia. The strongest artists will know which elements are fixed and which are fluid. They will treat identity not as a single image, but as a living system with rules, rituals, mutations, and boundaries. The artist may no longer be only a face. The stage may no longer be only physical. The outfit may no longer be only fabric. The fan may no longer be only audience. The image may no longer be only captured. But the core principle remains: visual identity is a memory system. In the future, that memory system will be tested by infinite images, synthetic bodies, virtual worlds, and intelligent tools. The artists who survive will not be those who look the most futuristic. They will be those whose future forms still feel unmistakably their own. The final question is not, how advanced can my image become? It is, when my body changes, my platform changes, my tools change, and my audience begins to remake me, what will still be recognizable? That answer is the real identity. Everything else is rendering.